and all the facts at this point indicate that the pilot was talking to air traffic control as they normally do on an instrument flight rules recovery when the accident occurred. Unfortunately, everything beyond that is subject to speculation and will be soon under investigation.
Was there any report that he gave of any trouble with the aircraft? Was he making the approach to land at Charleston?
Ma'am, I can't talk to that right now since we haven't recovered any data of that, and we haven't obviously transcribed any of the air traffic control recordings, but rest assured that will come out in the weeks and days to come as we put this under a very scrutinous investigation, both from the Air Force as well as the federal authorities, because this is a mil-civ incident. You can expect that the Federal Aviation Administration and National Transportation Safety Board will be looking into this as well, so we can hopefully be preventative in the future.
But you, to clarify, you were saying his mission was to land at Charleston, or he was just under Charleston?
He was flying instrument approaches at Charleston with a intent to return to Shaw Air Force Base. So he was doing practice instrument approaches.
Johnson, CBS Evening News.
Yes, sir.
What direction were both planes flying, if that's...
Sir, we simply don't have the specifics of that right now. Realize we've had the incident that occurred just after 11 o'clock local this morning. We're dealing with some recovery there. We've recovered the pilot, like I said, but we don't have any specifics about the parameters that they were currently in. But I will tell you that obviously having experience with safety investigation boards in the past, please rest assured there are 100 factors that could have been at play here. And we'll certainly be looking at all those to determine exactly what happened, once again in the spirit of safety, to prevent these types of tragedies from happening again in the future.
Can you give us an idea of the experience of the pilot?
Just tell me, when did he eject? How long before the crash did he eject?
Again, sir, I don't have all the specifics. You know, it's obvious that while he was flying, you know, being in an F-16, when this type of incident occurs, you know, the aircraft could still be flyable for a period of time. It could happen pretty quick. The decision to eject is a quick one, especially in a single-seat fighter like an F-16. But it looks like in this case he made the appropriate decision based on the flyability of his aircraft and was able to safely eject. And like I said, we've been able to recover him and get him the treatment and examination that he needs.
What's the process from WIS? Can you give us an overview of the scene that's being worked right now and what is going on?
That's a great question. Let me turn that over to the incident responder for that one.
We are in the process of searching for the two individuals that we believe were in the civilian aircraft. I'm not going to identify them at this point, but the investigation so far has shown that the civilian aircraft left the Berkeley County Airport and was probably going to Myrtle Beach. It had left the airport just a few minutes before 11, and the Berkeley County Airport had radio contact with them. And 2 minutes after 11 is when the collision occurred. But we are very actively searching for those two individuals, and a lot of agencies are involved. We have side scan sonars in the water, in the river. We have people in the rice fields looking, and a lot is going on right now to try to locate those people.
Are they local?
The information that we have now, they are local.
Sheriff Lewis, will you speak to what the Sheriff's Office is doing about the next couple of hours?
Right now, the Sheriff's Office is with a whole host of other law enforcement agencies, North Charleston, Charleston County, Department of Natural Resources. They're assisting our agency with securing the scene. We have debris field that's scattered out. As mentioned, we are securing those areas. We'll be doing that around the clock until the NTSB folks arrive and take control of the situation. So I ask folks that the residents of Berkeley County to kind of stay out of those areas where they see the roads that are blocked off, and ask for patience as we get through this incident.
Which specific areas are the roads blocked off at this time?
Well, at O.T. Wallace Boulevard in the Berkeley Country Club area, we're allowing residents to come in, but you know, we have a lot of folks coming in wanting to see the site and that sort of thing, but we're just asking folks to just stay out of those areas. We do have some witnesses. We're interviewing them at this time and taking statements. We will provide that information to the NTSB first and foremost as part of their investigation, and of course the military Air Force. We are, again, our focus is to assist the rescue squad and the other agencies here in Berkeley County, and I just want to say that we have over 150 different folks here from all walks of law enforcement, rescue, Red Cross, fire, EMS that have come out to help us, and I just want to say thank you to them for coming and assisting us in this tragedy.
Can you say what the witnesses said at all?
I can't at this time because I have detectives that are interviewing and getting statements.
Any other questions?
Sheriff, anybody on the ground injured? I know it once debris hit a trailer park I understand.
I've not been aware of any injuries on the ground at all. I have not.
No reports of damage to any property, residential or commercial at this time.
If the search is still ongoing, are you planning another press conference for later on, or what's the next step?
The next conference will probably be in the morning. As you can see, it's a little dark. The rain's probably about to come, and nightfall is going to come shortly thereafter. So we'll probably do another conference in the morning. Obviously, I'll make that available to all of you all as we figure out and finalize that schedule.
If you had to put a percentage to it, I mean, how much of the wreckage has been found at this point?
How much of the wreckage has been found at this point?
We've located the wreckage of the military aircraft, and we have located some parts of the small civilian aircraft. But we are still searching very actively, and we have not located a lot of the civilian aircraft, but we have located some parts of it.
Sir, could you add, is that on the ground, in the water? Can you explain at
Both.
all where that might be?
Both, on ground and water.
And Colonel, do you have any idea how many flying hours the pilot had at the time of his, and also how he spelled his name?
Yes, ma'am. The pilot's name is Major Aaron Johnson. It's Aaron Johnson. And he was a major, and he has been flying his entire career, so I don't know the exact number of hours that he has, but I can only speculate that it would be in around about 1,500 hours, typically is what you'll see in a senior pilot, which means he's a highly experienced pilot.
And you said he's been checked out and found to be okay? No abrasions, no problems?
Yes, ma'am. We were on the phone with him shortly after the incident via cell phone, and he had no injuries at that time. But out of precautions, obviously, any time you eject out of a high-performance aircraft, you're subject to some ejection injuries. And so as a precaution, we're having him checked out for the examination, but we are hopeful that he'll be back at Shaw Air Force Base with his family later this evening.
Sorry, did you have a question?
Yeah, Chuck Remote, News 19 in Columbia. Is there a protocol that Major would have to go through before he flies again?
There is. So he's going to get checked out as part of a safety investigation board. Obviously, we run a lot of tests to make sure that nothing regarding the pilot is causal. Just one of the many things that we look at when we put things under investigation. But there's nothing to say that he won't be flying next week if he's checked out medically to do so. Just so everybody is aware, the Air Force does an excellent job. You know, we do unfortunately have mishaps in the Air Force. In this case, we'll be cooperating with federal agencies, and it'll be a multi-agency effort. But we go through a very deliberate 30-day process of a safety investigation board, once again in the spirit of prevention to keep these things from happening. And then after that, we'll go through another process, an accident investigation board, where we'll look at some other objective details in there to determine if maybe who was at the blame.
Do you know what the weather conditions were at the time and if they were being located?
I do not know the specific weather conditions here at Charleston. I don't know if my counterpart can talk to those.
We don't have the specific weather at this time.
Okay, no specifics. VFR conditions, which is visual flight rule conditions, predominantly, we weren't dealing with an overcast. I was actually flying at the time this incident occurred this morning, myself.
Liz?
Was he flying as part of a fleet or solo?
He was solo on this mission, so he was on a single ship training mission, which is something that we do often out of, you know, when we do fighter operations, just to keep folks current on their instrument approach procedures in this case, in case they have to actually have to execute those while operating in the weather. So it's best to do that under VFR conditions.
Raymond Owens from WCBD.
Yes, sir.
Charleston. A couple of questions. How high were they flying? Do you know that? And number two, what all was on the aircraft? Could there be gas or anything that could be hazardous that was on the aircraft?
Great question. We don't suspect there's anything hazardous on it. The aircraft was not carrying any live munitions, and it didn't have any bullets. It is a fighter aircraft. It did have some expendable flares on it, but we expect those probably got burned up in the crash at the site. At this time, once the fire is out, it's a very innocuous scene. We don't expect there to be any hazards associated with the crash site. But once again, just for everyone's safety and precaution, we want to try to keep them away. As far as the specific altitudes the aircraft would have been operating at, you're probably talking about 2,000 to 3,000 feet. It was in the radar pattern here at Charleston, which means it was under positive control of the air traffic control facility here at Joint Base Charleston on its radar vectors to final approach. So it would have been operating just a couple thousand feet above the ground at a speed about 200 to 250 knots.
Sir, how often or how frequent do military planes and civilian planes come close enough for a possible incident to happen? Is that common or not common, or do they share the same airspace?
From my experience, and I'll answer this question because obviously I can't give you a percentage or a number, but the Air Force, just like the FAA, goes through extensive training, and we have a lot of equipment and procedures that try to keep separation of aircraft, which is very important, obviously, to keep these types of incidents from happening. I can tell you in my experience, I haven't had any close calls because the Air Force is very disciplined about how it operates its aircraft. We don't do our tactical maneuvering until we're in assigned military operating areas or warning areas out over the water. And obviously, civilian aircraft, whether civilian aviation or commercial aircraft, are kept out of those areas specifically so we don't have issues with mid-air collisions.
You mentioned that they were monitoring on radar, the aircraft.
Yes, sir.
So, did the ground not see?
I don't know that information at this time, and so once again, that's something we'll definitely look at as part of the safety investigation.
You know if either pilot had any distress calls?
From our pilot, unknown at this time. I haven't had a chance to talk to him. Obviously, that'll come out in any of the transcripts from the tapes that are recorded, either from air traffic control or the aircraft itself.
Right here.
I understand you guys have a lot going on right now. What's the number one objective for you guys at this point?
You're talking about relative to this incident? Well, for the Air Force, obviously, our hearts are with the family of the, the disposition of the crew that was on the civilian aircraft. Obviously, we want to know what happened. We want to, come to a conclusion on that. And then, obviously, we want to support the safety investigation as much as we can so that we can certainly keep these things from happening again, in the interest of everybody.
And we'll let the chief also answer that as well.
As far as Berkeley County, our main goal now is to recover the remains of the two people that were in that airplane. And as I said before, we are doing everything that we possibly can, and we've got a lot of people working on that. But that is our main object now, is to locate those people and bring them back home to the families.
So you're presuming they're dead?
Excuse me?
You're presuming that the two people, the civilians, are dead?
Yes, sir. We have no reason to believe that anyone survived the crash, other than the military pilot.
Brenda, you have a question?
Have you identified what kind of plane that was that the civilians were on? Is it a Cessna? Or?
We believe that it was a Cessna 150.
And are you going to suspend the search tonight because of darkness at some point? What time do you think? How much longer?
We're going to work as long as we can that is safe for us. We are in a recovery mode, not a rescue mode now.
Okay.
Certainly I have to take consideration of the safety of my rescue people, personnel, and we will work as long as we can, and then we will suspend the search until tomorrow morning. Yes, ma'am.
Is there anything you can say about the civilians' flight experience? I know you're not identifying them. Do they have flight experience?
I have no idea at this point. That would be investigated by the National Safety Board when they come in and all.
Can you see how far the
Colonel
pilot
Jones, can you give us any more biographical information?
One more question for Chief Salter.
Look here, y'all have to give them to me once at a time now.
Again, right here,
Was it
WIS,
two
please.
adults?
Come up where I can hear you.
Colonel Jones, could you give us any more
Colonel Joe,
information, biographical information about the pilot?
No, I'm just going to release a name at this time, other than, he is a major, he's a senior pilot. He's been assigned to Shaw for probably about a year now. But other than that, right now he's from Sumter, South Carolina. I don't know where he was from originally. I apologize.
AP.
Thank you.
I just wanted to check. Can you, or do you have any knowledge that it was a two adults on the aircraft, not an adult and a child?
It's all speculation at this time. When I leave here, I'm going to speak with some family members that I think that it could possibly be. I just received a phone call while this press conference was going on, and I do have some positive identification that's been found, and I have not had a chance to speak with my people in the field about that, but I understand that we have found a wallet.
And how far was the pilot found from the jet?
I don't know the answer to that. And the jet landed in a plantation called Medway Plantation, and from my understanding, the pilot was also found in this Medway Plantation. I don't know how many acres are in that plantation, but it's my understanding that he was picked up by some employees of that plantation and transported out to Berkeley County EMS, and they took over and transported him to the hospital.
Ma'am, just for some additional information on that, when I spoke with the pilot, or we were talking to the pilot on the phone shortly after he was picked up, he could see the crash site, and obviously he made contact with the first responders that were there. So typically when you eject from an F-16 at those altitudes, the jet will not travel that far from the point of ejection, so it's typical that he would be within walking distance of the crash site, and that was the case as we could gather this morning.
Flying at the speed you almost fly at, can you estimate distance and time between Sumter and Joint Base Charleston?
We can be down in Joint Base Charleston in about 10 minutes.
Are there
So
any
typically when they
environmental
take off.
concerns about the fuel that was on the plane, maybe? I mean, you'd have to have enough fuel to get back to Charlotte.
That's true. We don't know the disposition of fuel at the time. The aircraft was carrying external tanks. Whether or not those tanks had gas remaining in them, since that gas is utilized first during a flight profile, is unknown at this time.
Do you know how much it started out with at least?
A two-tank F-16 will hold about 12,000 pounds of fuel, and so doing some rough math here, it's going to be a couple 2,000 gallons of fuel.
We'll do two more questions and then we're going to wrap it up. Anybody else over here?
In your experience, has this ever happened before? Or is this all new to you guys?
Anybody else want to take that one first? Are you addressing military specifically?
Anyone.
What was the question?
Has this happened before?
We've had some crashes involving civilian and military aircraft in Berkeley County, but to my knowledge, I can't recall of a military and a civilian aircraft actually colliding in Berkeley County. But we have had individuals with military aircraft and civilian aircraft collide.
I'm not sure this was ever actually answered. They do fly in the same space, military and civilian. It is the same space that they flied, and he was in contact with Charleston Air Traffic Control. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. Civilian and military aircraft do fly in the same airspace. Obviously, there's different classifications of airspace. I can tell you that the F-16 was talking to air traffic control because they were on an instrument flight rules plan, which means they are in this type of airspace in and around Joint Base Charleston. They need to be in positive radar contact, two-way radio contact with the tower or controlling agency. I know that's a technical answer. As far as the previous question goes, I have seen military to military collisions. This is the first experience I've had with a military civilian. Like I said, it's very rare because of the procedures and the equipment that we have in place to prevent these types of things from happening. It's unfortunate, but you know, in military flying, it's going to happen maybe a little bit more often just because of the nature of our business. We do fly formations, we do tactical maneuvering relative to other aircraft, and so you will sometimes see these types of things happen more in the military than you do in the civilian world.
This is going to be the last question.
Had the civilian aircraft put out a flight plan? Were people aware of its presence in the area flying?
I know the civilian aircraft did announce that it was leaving Berkeley County Airport. As far as a flight plan, I can't answer that question at this time.
And what we're going to do tomorrow, we're going to have a press conference at noon tomorrow, which would give us some time to get some more information to share with the public and the media. We'll do it at noon tomorrow. We'll obviously send that out, the location of it. More likely than not, the command post will still be here, and we'll probably do it here. But I will send that out via Twitter and email.
So the plane did leave at the Berkeley County Airport here in Moncks Corner. Is that what you said? I just heard.
That's the information that we have.
Okay.
All right, thank
Thank
you
you
all
all
very
for
much.
coming.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.